into international fans. Right, so we're doing this ROD review, and we will see exactly what we can do out of Fnatic G2. So, I didn't watch this game live. I did end up seeing the result. So I know the results of this, and that's why I wanted to do this, because I thought, hey, this one looked pretty good. And let's see what we get. So we're going straight from draft. This is a pre-recorded draft. So it's a little harder to like judge based off of that, which is a little sad in some ways. I'm not a massive fan of pre-recorded draft. I feel like it takes away the tension. I understand it from a broadcast perspective, and yeah, no spoilers, but Humanoid's a beast. I will look out for that then. So let's have a look from these first bans. What are we looking for? So this pick in the Draven, obviously, these are lane pressure bans from bot lane, because Hansar and Mickey, when they play around winning bot lanes, are very, very good. I think G2 are one of the few, they're one of the few teams in the league that can play around lane pressure, first level wins, just slap in a win through that way. So that's really important. Nico is a big problem for Caps, because Caps is a blind pickable champion in mid lane that can get priority and then engage into mid game. And Caps is just absolutely he's the most creative player in Europe. So giving him the most creative champion after having, after being, the most creative player as well, that's just a double whammy of no. So you're taking away one of the easiest win conditions from G2 in a way that no one else in Europe plays around it, and you're also taking away one of the ways that you can never really prepare for a Caps Nico. There is just every chance that he flips a game and just wins it by doing Caps things. So these are good bans. Now, what are you giving up for this? There's still Varus, there's still Smolder. I mean, it's 14.5 Smolder. You can see the patch down here. But what are you giving up for this on that side? There's still some lane pressure as well and stuff like the Varus. I think the Varus can be pretty dangerous in that regards. So on the other side, G2, they're trying to take away Razork's playmaking in terms of early playmaking. And the Volley Bear, we're likely seeing it in jungle. I know we've seen it in top lane a couple of times, but that's kind of valuable too. And then interestingly, the Orianna as well. I guess it is a strong laning champion. Maybe that to me suggests that... Because what beats up Orianna in lane? Karma can. Maybe it's just saying Caps doesn't want to play Karma, he wants to play a playmaker. So let's see what he does there. Also, I guess the other thing is that Orianna can actually beat out Ahri in lane as well. But if you're going to ban out the Ahri, I'd rather just ban out the Karma if you're worried about laning phase for that. So I don't necessarily understand that in that regard. So first pick from Fnatic, it could be Smolder. Azir's obviously global ban still. It could be Varus as well. This is different because they lock in the Taliyah. So Taliyah helps you roam bot side. So now, I like this a lot. Now what I think Fnatic are going to do now is bait in a bot-sided draft where the Taliyah can just roam bot lane. So Taliyah obviously can roam bot lane at 6. You're probably looking at, I think what I would lock in now is maybe Ahri Nautilus for G2, because Nautilus doesn't really have much that you're worried about playing against in lane anymore. You can potentially hold a Senna later into the draft as well, so you can drop a Senna there. But either way, you can go towards Varus Nautilus, punish something like a Smolder or a Senna answer coming in from this side. You can lock in a Smolder if they lock in something which is not too interactive in lane. That's pretty big too. And then, yeah, either way, you have bot lane options. So I think Ahri Nautilus, really good lock-ins here, I think, for G2. And, we saw that just locked in from NIP when we were just watching that just before this as well. So that's pretty valuable. So what do they think? What do they think? What's their first pick? Because, I mean, the Taliyah is fine for the Ahri, like you do fine with that. I don't like locking in the Smolder here. And the reason I don't like locking in the Smolder is because, as we said, Fnatic are trying to force a bot-centric draft, and Taliyah is very good at roaming bot side. So what you're likely having now is, I mean, if you lock in something like a Varus or like, a Varus Nautilus on this other side, you are screwed. Because you just get forced on continually, and then the Taliyah also roams bot side. So this is now a very bad... I think this Smolder is a bad first pick. I know that G2 can just say, look, we can survive early games because we're better early game players.
Before I kick off my own stream, do you want a cuppa?
Yes, I'd love one, thank you.
What do you want?
I'd like it in my my Ahri mug with Ahri on it, the Fox Ahri, my favourite skin of the game. I'd like that.
Yeah.
Can I just have a cup of soup, please? Thank you.
Yeah,
I do. I do that for the single person because it gives it this. Yeah. Yeah. Can I have some of the honey in as well? Thank you.
So what kind of tea?
Some honey, just some breakfast tea. It's fine. It's all good. All good. Just a cuppa. Do we know when Azir is getting re-enabled for Pro? It is disabled for the entirety of 14.5 as far as I'm aware. I don't know whether it is fixed on 14.6. I'm not sure. I've not heard about that. But either way, not available right now. I think that will massively change some of these things. Okay. And now Fnatic show their hand and they say, okay, you've locked in the Smolder, and now suddenly the problem is, regardless of the build of the Kai'Sa, you are in trouble. So Ahri likes to roam bot side and play through jungle. Our jungle mid roams across the map. It's not necessarily about killing mid lane. It can be. Yeah. So the thing is now, Kai'Sa outscales the Smolder, which sucks. Not necessarily in terms of if you hit a target dummy, Kai'Sa will do more damage, because that's not true. Smolder will do more damage that way. However, because you can go for, the LS poke build, or even the on-hit build as well, if you ever ping CC onto the Smolder, and you have the Nautilus for the point and click here as well, you either have the Kai'Sa assassinate, or you sit at range, and you have Nautilus Talia one-shot onto the first target, with the Kai'Sa pinging in as well. So, what did G2 do now beyond this point? Do you have to lock in Alistair and just permanently fight? I don't think you can lock Braum. You can't do Braum into Talia Kai'Sa in terms of like choice lane part pairings for the Smolder. That sucks. I really don't like that. So what are the choice pairings? Nautilus is gone. Braum sucks because you're outranged and you're just going to get pinged for forever, and the mixed damage really makes it hard for you as well to itemize against. Well, not that Braum itemizes, well, that's whatever, that's a whatever point. I think you have to look for the Alistair, maybe Rel. I mean, Rel kind of sucks too in a lot of ways, and you just try and just permanently fight, I guess. But then the problem is, if you lock in, you have to, I think you have to lock in choice support here. You did, yeah. And then, I think you're losing 2 junglers here if that's the case, though. There's no... Like, Ahri can't be flexed between lanes right now. So, funnily enough, I do actually think that Ahri can be flexed into top lane. I think AD Ahri is okay right now. I think you can actually still play AD Ahri as well in terms of AD Ahri top lane or AP Ahri top lane. But you're not flexing around that. Plus, it's just better in mid lane anyway. There's nothing really... There's no fuckery you can do with these first couple of picks from G2, basically, is what I'm getting on it. And even if there was, it's not in the roles that matter. So what do? Do you lock in Alistair and just hope for the best? You know what's weird here? I almost wonder if Thresh is better, folks. No, maybe not. I mean, Kai'Sa just outranges you still. I'm just trying to think, if you play with Thresh, you might be able to, like, trade hook for hook against the Nautilus, but then you just still get one-shot by the Talia, so that doesn't make sense. You could also Blitzcrank. No, Blitzcrank also just really fragile in lane. I think you have to Alistair, right? There's maybe an argument to say Xin Sao, and you just, like, use the jungle to brawl instead, get a jungle advantage. I don't like the Tahm Kench. This doesn't save you. This doesn't save you. If Tahm Kench gets hooked, so if Tahm Kench gets hooked by this duo, particularly Talia and Nautilus, he is 100% one-shot. I don't like Tahm Kench here. That's why I'm saying that Tahm Kench I don't think is very good here. Sorry, I've just looked over a chat and I've seen some people saying in chat. I think Tahm Kench is good at stopping dives, but all you're going to do when you devour someone is get pinged by Nautilus and just die. And of course, something like the Kai'Sa as well. In AD build, very good at tank shredding. With AP build, it doesn't matter anyway. You're just going to ping them anyway. There's no sustain on the side of G2. They're just going to get absolutely shredded. So I think this is a mistake. I think the first pick Smolder is a mistake because the Talia is already locked in and it allows Fnatic to respond with lane dominance and allow the Talia to run down bot side. I think that's a mistake. I think that the Tahm Kench is a mistake because they cannot survive the full combo from Fnatic. I think that's a mistake. I just go Braum. I think that Braum can never get on top of the Talia and the Kai'Sa, and if you jump with your W onto target through the Talia, they die. So Braum can't save the first target, and if he jumps through the minefield, they die. So Braum is also bad. So I think Alistair is the only pick which can at least press alt button and then at least frontline for a bit. I think this is very disrespectful from G2 in terms of their draft. And I think Fnatic with the Kai'Sa pick, they're starting to learn that Kai'Sa is actually an answer into Smolder. I think different regions around the world are. Now G2 could potentially look for top side. What they could look to do is side lane split push, which is why the Twisted Fate has gone out. Even then, trying to side lane split push against global and, well, 2 semi-global sucks. I think Fnatic have got a good answer for that. I don't think it's like insta-win, because if you have like a strong Jax from Broken Blade, maybe the Jax could work. Could you bait Oscarinin into going into Cassante and then locking in like a Camille? That might be okay. I think it's good to deny some of the engage options there. That's fine. And also this stops you from like all-inning with like Jarvanari and TFR and stuff like that too. Vi's already gone for one of your primary conversations. Would Wukong go pretty hard here? Or are you just... I think if you go Wukong, you can't fight early enough. Shinzao at least allows you to play from outside the range of Talia. So you can tank it. As soon as you see the Nautilus hook flying at you, you press your Shinzao ult and you're just invulnerable for a bit. And also it's a target which Tahm Kench doesn't need to worry about devouring. It's okay in terms of mid-jungle combination with Ahri as well. Would Maokai support have worked? I feel like Maokai just gets shredded by Kai'Sa Nautilus as well. You're actually not that tanky as a support. Again, I feel like you literally just need Alistar who can engage and not die for like 5 seconds. Wukong's bad versus Talia. If you come out of good vision control and you get on top of the Talia, I think it's fine. And also you can clone backwards from Kai'Sa W and then the Nautilus hook as well. And plus it just gives you some AoE team fight, which is not... Yeah, it can actually maybe win you late game fights. Because if Wukong just manages to, like, flash ult, I don't think this is the play. Because, I mean, Lee Sin sucks versus Talia for one. Your mid-jungle 2v2 is okay. Yeah, your mid-jungle 2v2 is okay, but you've already got an anti-dash champion on the other side. I mean, if you're going for anti-dash champions, you're looking at, like, what, likely Poppy here? Yeah, is Poppy okay? Poppy's good versus Ahri as well. Yeah, that's good versus that. Yeah, you can also shunt, like, you can maybe even shunt the Tahm Kench out of a fight as well, and that means that the fight's good. I think Poppy's really good for Razork now. Also, it's one of his best champions. What else could you go for? You could go for Viego. You could go for Viego. I think Viego's good. Because you can, again, look for resets and get the single target kill of, like, everything here. I think Viego's good. I think Sejuani is fine. I think Sejuani Nautilus is a nasty combo. And plus you can be another frontline. I think you could like Sejuani Cassante here if you wanted. And just have double nasty frontline. Maybe that's less good against the Smolder because the Smolder eventually kills your frontline anyway. You could go Udyr. I think Udyr is not bad from Oscarinin here because it gives you some top lane playing potential. You have all the damage you need as Fnatic. Anything which combos onto that is good. And they are hovering the poppies. That's good. Smolder and Viego, both insta-stack Braum passive. Yes. But Braum then has to play into Talia Nautilus, which sucks. So, I wouldn't go for that. So they do go for the double frontline. The Cassante Poppy. Which means that until you reach hyper late game, you're not going to have damage to kill them. Unless you have a top laner that can kill tanks. Now the problem is, I would have suggested Camille last pick if that's practiced by Broken Blade, because then you can actually get on top of these carries. But even then, I feel like going as Camille into like Poppy sucks, and obviously you're into Poppy Talia. It's like you've got Poppy Talia, like Camille sucks into that. Yeah, that's difficult. So what does Broken Blade go? If you play Jax, it's Jax is okay, I guess. In terms of answers into Cassante, I don't know. I kind of want to see what they pick, actually. I don't want to put words in their mouths, really, for this one. Because, like, this one's rough. You kind of want to have a side lane threat. Yeah, Gwen's not awful, actually. Because there might be a chance where Gwen gets so fed that you can kind of, like, use your W to ignore the initial CC and then, like, cause problems to the backline. Even with that, I think you're still screwed. Because, like, how does the rest of the team ever follow up? You need an absurd lead on Gwen to do damage this game. Because Gwen needs to be a one-man army. Because what happens if, you know, Poppy stood with W on one side, or Poppy runs into your, yeah, Poppy can also just, like, go into your Shroud as well and then, like, punt you out. So that's dangerous. And what happens if you have, like, Poppy stood on the flank? Then obviously it stops, like, Ahri and Lee Sin flying through. That's a difficulty for them. You have the Talia here, which can do the same thing. You can also reposition the fight really, really well. If you're trying to get on top of the Kai'Sa, very hard for Gwen to do so. If you have Kai'Sa with a mark on anyone else, it's very easy to apply that mark. You have the K'Sante Shunt. You have... Also, K'Sante is pretty good at denying Gwen into team fights as well, because if you W into the Shroud, you will body block them. Because it's just like, it goes with your character model, which means that if you're inside the Shroud, then you'll hit them anyway. So that's pretty good. And then Poppy can obviously just like run in and then potentially like use the ult to separate out the team fight as well. I think G2 have been comprehensively outdrafted. So let's think about what G2 can do to win. So typically you're looking at early game snowball between Lee Sin and Ahri. Well, Nautilus is going to be in a winning lane that can roam onto the map. So you're going to have to deal with support difference if you're trying to play through that. Poppy is also very good in early game and very good against both those champions, so that's going to be a hard thing as well. It's not unplayable, but especially with a charm before the W comes up, there's a way that you can allow Lee Sin to kick that way, or like to get him for this QT rather. Once it gets into mid game, you have double globals. Even though you're very good typically at playing through, you know, very fast movements between, you know, Lee Sin and Ahri, they can kind of push and roam very quickly. I think that when you're dealing with the double globals, that sucks. And again, the Nautilus is going to be on the roam as well, because you're likely winning lane with the Kai'Sa Nautilus. Very strong 2v2 lane comparative for most of things. Thank you very much for the T-Sim.
Dozo. Got it?
All negotiables. Is it just me, or is G2 damage really dependent on them getting early kills and invade? Yes, I completely agree, and I think that also applies a lot to... In this case, because we've talked about the team fights, right? And we've talked about the double globals. So what you need for either team fights or split push is Gwen to be so ungodly fed that it doesn't matter that either in a split push you're dealing against double globals and, well, actually, because Kai'Sa as well. Let's keep the Kai'Sa in the equation as well. And then also a roaming Nautilus. So you're likely going to get third-partied whenever you're, like, looking at this too. And then you're also doing that into a K'Sante who can... Also, I mean, K'Sante is better into the Gwen than she used to be. So that's already a problem. And then in team fights as well, because you have dash denial of these two, a strong front line to hold the door closed in the other direction, and then also a delaying Nautilus ult, and then the reposition of the Kai'Sa, you're very unlikely going to get your hands on the Kai'Sa for free. And you're maybe you can get the Talir at best. I think maybe at best you can get the Talir. And maybe you can shred front line, I don't know. Now thinking back to it, I think someone in chat suggested going towards the Viego as well for G2. At least with that, you could look towards the first play and looking for a reset comp. I really think that because you don't have any pressure bot lane, and you've also picked a support that can't engage very well and can't frontline very well, G2 have no... This bot lane identity doesn't fit with what they want to do with the top side. I think that Viego maybe could have been a better jungler. I think that Lee Sin is very hard to play in this game. I think Gwen is very hard to play in this game. I think Tahm Kench is very hard to play in this game. Smolder, if he gets to 1,000,000 stacks, yeah, that's something. But then, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is right. And we did see an NA the other day as well. We saw some poke Kai'Sa as well. And it wouldn't surprise me to see the poke Kai'Sa in this game as well, which means you're hyper outranged as well. If you're hyper outranged as well by this Kai'Sa, one-man army in terms of poke, there's no sustain here. There's no sustain. I think in every area of the game that G2 want to play in, they're outmatched. Even in early game, Poppy's great in early game. This is a better early game duo than the enemy bot lane. This is a very good jungler as well. The only bonus you have is that as a 2v2, this is a better mid jungle very early on than enemy mid jungle 2v2. That's the only bonus you've got here. Like this is hard. This is like draft. This is huge draft app from Fnatic. I love that I love that they baited G2 into playing this bot side draft. Because if you, and I think it was too obvious from G2 to lock it in, but the Talir just means that it's so much easier to play bot side as that team, right? Because Talir is just really good at just going bot lane, really. Right, oopsies, what have I done there? Oh god, there we go. So let's trim that a little bit as well. Wait, what the hell has happened there? Hang on. Do that. If I trim it, it goes a bit weird. Oh, whatever. I'll just leave it untrimmed because my camera's going weird if I do that. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. We'll go over here. Let's get into game then. It'll leave a little bit of volume on.
I think of certain champions.
If I can actually know. Vedi's voice sounds too... Actually, guys, I can't have the cast on. Vedi's voice sounds too similar to mine. We have the same accent. He's a South Walian, and my dad came from there, and I lived in a bit of England which doesn't have that particularly strong accent around Nottinghamshire, so... He's like a South Welsh resident who became more English accent over time, and my dad had exactly the same, so we actually have really similar voices. I'm sorry, folks, I actually can't have the voices on from cast. Damn. Okay, right, let's get into game. Let's 2 times speed it for a bit, or 1.5. 1.5 is the sweet spot, I feel. So, G2, they need an early game powerhouse game from either opportunistic 2v2s. I think that sometimes Kai'Sa Nautilus can fall apart. But Handsam has gone for teleport, so he's unlikely to go towards that one. He doesn't even have a ghost to outplay later game team fights. So you really need Yike to do something impressive. And it already starts off badly. Fnatic realize, okay, only way that G2 make a difference this game is by immediately piling on bot side. With a bot side 3v3 from Lee Sin. You can't do that because level 1 Nautilus goes invading, a very strong invade, and they take blue buff for free. So there's less camps and less XP for Lee Sin to take towards the bot side of the map, which is just annoying as hell. Didn't they even do a bit about your voices being similar back in the day on the CB request? Yes, we did. We did do one bit. Yeah. There was a point where VoD and I did a 2-man desk, or it might have been on cast. We did a tri-cast together for... Was it XL Fnatic or was it Rogue Mad? One of the two. We did... I think it was XL... No, it wasn't XL Fnatic. It was XL versus one of the other teams. And yeah, we did a bit and it was like, okay, look, our voices are too similar. Let's change to another accent. So, right, when we're back into game! Until League of Legends onto Summoner's Rift. And we went, you know, we both chose the same accent. It was funny. It was actually pretty good. I like that. I'll find a clip. I don't know. I say I'll find the clip. I don't know where it is. It's in one of the playoffs casts, I think, but it was one of them. Anyway, so already, back into the game. I know I got distracted. But, so already G2, problems for them because they can't easily bot side 3v3 because there's no blue buff. 2 hooks in a row landed from Jun. Level 2 hit. Level 2 means that, like, the extra kind of Void Seeker comes through as well. It's nasty stuff. Razzle gets to keep himself on bot lane, and it allows the first crash of the game to come in well. He can now go towards bot side scuttle. Jun clears up the vision, doesn't know that. They don't see that Razzle's there. Broken Blade gets a crash in top side, but he can't hit turret, which is annoying for him. He can proxy a little bit. He knows that jungle is on bot side still, probably. Humanoid's even winning the early trades in mid, which shouldn't happen, by the way. Ari should be winning early trades in mid. Broken Blade knows... Oh, right. I guess he's afraid of a topside... Hang on, let's go back. How much information do they have about mid lane? About jungle movements? Because Broken Blade dies because he's low HP and he doesn't want to die to a jungle gang. He doesn't want to give over free first blood. It's okay. It's a quick reset, right? In this case, this early into the game, it's a quick reset. So, okay. I think basically what G2 know is because... Talia's pushed in mid lane. Bot lane's reset. That's what they know. Now, because bot lane doesn't need jungle shepherding them anymore, and because Lee Sin has no camps on bot side, and they're aware that Poppy will have 1 quadrant done on bot side, it is likely that they're heading top side. With the outside angle of them going into the enemy jungle, but that's unlikely because K'Sante can't roam because he's pushed in. He's too far to respond. So yeah, the only place he can be is it is actually the right play to die here. Because if he allows Razzle into flash range, then he'll at least get, you know, some damage on, and that means that you can't execute. So this is fine. I think that he gets a proxied wave there, which is okay. He gets back in time for a second thing. He gets a quick recall. That's okay. It's fine. I actually don't think that's bad at all in this case. Darkseal first back from caps. Again, this is an early snowball game. This is very, very important. I do find it a little concerning that he was losing early trades versus Razork, though. You should be able to push in this lane pretty well versus the Talia early on, because you can trade very hard against her and convince her to not trade very well on the raid, on the wave. Your level 1 and level 2 trades are much better than Talia's. Level 3, you can eat combos and you can, you know, not do so well. But level 1, level 2, even level 3 is fine too, because if she stops for a combo, you can sometimes get a charm for free or outstep with W. Okay, so Yike actually gets himself a buff still. It's good for him. Razork didn't get his red buff. Oh, so this is kind of fun. Ah, this is fun. So, obviously, your red buff only stays up for so long, right? If you look down on the minimap, Razork's not taking his red buff. So he basically said, look, I'm not going to be well, I want to take my red buff later so I can fight more in this early game and then, like, use the best amount of this duration. He doesn't want to be using his red buff to farm. He wants it for a proper point in power. So we can use it potentially for... Wait, why is he not taking it now, though? I guess Scuttle spawned. I guess he's going to go straight back to it now and just look to fight around Dragon with red buff power spike. God, Razok's playing this so weirdly here. Okay, so they managed to get out for free there. That's fine. They lose exhaust, but that's fine. So Razok's going to back... What is Razok doing with this early clear, man? Why are you not taking red buff at this point? So he takes bot Scuttle. Dragon's already up. You can't really take Dragon with Smolder that easily. Because you just can't fight early. So if anyone else turns up, then Smolder just can't fight around it. Okay. And this is now a problem too. This is a point that we highlighted in draft. So if GT want to snowball early game, now one of the big problems is you have Jun out on the map. If you look on minimap, he's going around here. He has a sweeper as well, which is off cooldown, so we can clear out some vision. So you have that. So now you have... God, this is so bad for GT now in terms of when they look for fights. You have a Jun's on the roam. Talia ults. Poppy with, like, you know, all of her abilities unlocked, so she's happy now. Although this item is trash. You should never buy this item, by the way. This glowing mote is such a trash item. Yeah. So your early mid jungle CV2 and Caps and Yike, they do have a moment of power, but it is against a really important kind of moment from Fnatic as well, because they have, you know, Nautilus coming out onto the map. He's spotted on vision right now, but it's just very hard to do anything. And they've spotted out the Warden River as well. So G2 have no bot side river vision because they've just been spotted out by a vision plant as well. Jun turns towards bot lane, that's fine. Razok's got a sweeper through bot side. Again, knows that there's no vision in bot side now. He takes a bit of damage, but who cares? He gets to heal with honey fruit as well. Crash in bot lane. Humanoid has ult. He's pushing and roaming. He knows there's a ward in that one pixel brush, so they're aware of that. What's happening here, though? Hang on. So bot side is not looking good in terms of G2 having any presence in the bot side of the map. Oh, that sucks, man. So... Hang on, he also times this really well. So basically, this is nasty as hell. Basically. So, watch this. I'm going to slow this down, actually. So the timing that Oscarinin does this is great. So, you'll see this on... So, for instance, Zeus does this on Yone. Faker does this on LeBlanc. These are two champions that do this. The tower, you can see, is hitting this minion. As soon as that turret shot leaves that turret, so literally when the turret shot is, like, here... The turret starts changing direction, changing targets, but it has to warm up for its next shot. If you hit someone just as the turret shot is being fired, you can basically deny, you know, a lot of time under turret by being shot at, right? So if Oscarinin hits this and the tower shot immediately hits him, by the time he gets his Q3, which shunts him back, and then the W not through the wall, he'll have taken 2, maybe 3 tower shots. Because he times it well, I think he only takes 1. So he hits that, 1... Yeah, he takes 2 tower shots. He could have potentially taken 3 there. Also, one of those turret shots doesn't matter because it goes into his all-out HP. Because, like, he goes down into a point where it actually wouldn't have mattered anyway. Hits him over the wall, double shunt. Broken Blade does not have a flash. He can't get over the wall. Instant kill. Really well timed from Oscarinin. Has the level advantage. Already had himself the Negatron Cloak as well. Really well played. One of the best individual plays I've seen out of him this split. So then, what is happening bot side while this is happening? Wait, hang on. What's happening bot side while this is happening? So, again, we said that Fnatic get vision control, just looking down on the minimap. There's a couple of blue prings staying through. And then, how the hell does Caps end up there? So he's walking... hang on. Let's just look at this. If you look on the minimap, there is actually a blue ward just there. So, really good play there. Because that means that you can get a combo from out of Fog of War, which means that Caps does need to be careful. He doesn't have something like early Merc Treads. That's the negative of kind of like going towards some early AP. Which means that you do need to be respectful of early magic damage like that. So this is a great 1v1. While this is happening, jungle support walking into the enemy jungle. You don't have level 6 for Noah yet. Can you get it off the next wave? I don't think he can. And then while this is happening, Caps gets completely blasted by a Nautilus hook through the Talia field and then the wall slam as well. He flashes out. He gets the safeguard, so he's safe, but at what cost? Okay, so that's actually Lee Sin getting some good value. And also Kai'Sa not being there. So a little too far from Fnatic. I thought this would go much worse. 2 kills. 3 kills. Wow, that's important for them. Or is that just 2? That's just 2. Sorry, that's just 2. So let's go through this again. Is there a way they could have played this better? Because they had... This is just G2, man. Like, they... You have a really squishy Ari who has, like, no HP or magic resist or anything like that, who gets 3 people jumping on him, but then, effectively, Guardian and Safeguard change things around. And Fnatic don't walk away with the play. They also don't call Noah up quick enough to the play. I think this is poor in regards to going into the enemy jungle knowing that you're going to be against jungle disadvantage. You think this is going to be fine. Ah, man, that's something. And then because the cooldown of the Unraveled Earth for Humanoid is too long at this point, you're not going to get a second one in this fight. Caps gets to come back and gets himself a combo into Razork. Almost dies to the last rock flying out. And Handsama gets a kill as well. So, that's nasty as fuck. Oh, hang on, we noticed them as well. It's going to be Poke Kai'Sa, so we get to talk about Poke Kai'Sa later into the game as well. Gwen started taking Flash versus Cassante last season, but Cassante is more nerfed now. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, and he doesn't take it this game. Misses the knockup, that's sad. I don't think it leads to anything there. It probably just blows a Flash, at best. So, suddenly, 2 kills and a Smolder. 1 kill on Yike. And this is, I mean, this is against, like we said, a bot side that should absolutely, like, give them a lot of problems early, despite the fact that you have Ahri Lee Sin early. But hey, they get away with it. I think the fact that, I don't know whether Razork actually ends up misusing his W, because I don't know whether Cats manages to flash out of the W. Ult for the heal. Jun's got more HP than anyone else on this thing here. Ult for the auto reset. Nice. This is the thing you can do on Kai'Sa. So watch how he times this. Auto ult immediately. This is also ults. Your ultimate does reset your auto attack timer. So he gets another one onto him, gets another auto attack, another auto attack after, which means to get that kill. So this was the thing on AP Kai'Sa and on other Poke Kai'Sa variants. Because you don't build attack speed, getting an auto attack reset on a low attack speed Kai'Sa means you can get a very quick double auto attack turnaround when you also have your W as well. Particularly when you have your W upgrade later into the game, it means that you get 5 stacks in auto ult auto with a W, or W and then obviously you'd like W ult as well. Obviously that's very important, but yeah. Wait, and then they kill Beep. What? BB dies. Again? Oh, come on, BB. I mean, getting hit by the Q3 into the combo under turret, that kind of sucks. Maybe he should have just taken Flash, but... I mean, Ghost is really important later on, and BB just dies again. Jesus. Razork gets himself right onto the game there as well. You know, right into the game up top side. Wait, was he actually proxying there? Again? No, so he's not proxying. And he walks up to maybe take turret plates. Ah, so this is the thing. Maybe we'll see it in the replay. I don't think we will. Hang on, let me check something. We can check runes here as well. What runes has he got? No, he doesn't have Demolish or anything. So sometimes when you have Demolish, you do this. So Gwen is dead. Because sometimes when... if you get control of a wave as a top laner, there is a way you can get turret plates for free. It's something that Adam does a lot. He did a lot last split. Yeah, so what you end up doing, so the wave crashes in, right? And now what you want to do is, as the top laner, as the pushing top laner, you walk past the wave, and you walk here, and then you hit the turret from behind. You can see that you want to take, like, this play here, right? That's what you're looking to take. So what you're trying to force is Cassante to go out here and kill the wave, instead of attack you. Because at the end of the day, he can just, if you are ahead enough or even enough as the Gwen, you just ignore it. And at the end of the day, you're then making the enemy top laner miss minions. Because BB is so freaking strong, and he has jungler on the top side, he doesn't have to take the wave. He doesn't have to ignore you. He just kills you because you don't have the stats to do this. When you're a beefier top laner, if you got like a Renekton who just gets to walk beyond the tower, this is completely fine for that. Cassante is obviously great with this too, and they can also take Demolish and just hit the tower. They can just stick close to it, walk around it. They run you around, and then they kind of hit the back of the turret here. While you're at all this time, you're missing these minions. Gwen walks straight. Like BB just walks straight into him. Hey, you can see here, right? He just walks straight into him. He's just hitting the turret, hoping that he ignores him, and then just gets blasted. He just allows him to start check up, get Q3. He doesn't have the stat. I think he dies solo here, by the way. Even at, wait, actually maybe not. Not without Ghost and ult. But yeah, that's the logic. That's how you get turret plates for free in top lane. But yeah. Yeah, that's just a mess from BB. He just misreads the map. And this is another thing. Wait, hang on. I gotta go check one last thing about this play, actually. Yeah, in fact, we can tell this. So, while this is happening, folks, this is really important, because this adds an extra little thing. Ward here, ward here. So there is some vision in bot side jungle to tell that Poppy is not on bot side. And you should know at this point as well that camps are down on bot side. Maybe you think that they're going towards a dragon contest, but if they were, likely going to be spotted on one of these two entrances. So I think that's super greedy from BB. Also, at the same time, Talia does have ults. I think even if Poppy's not there, doesn't Talia just walk out of lane and ult you? This is nonsensical from BB, actually. I actually don't see an argument for this. Yeah, that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. I don't see a world in which that works out. You just push the wave in, and you just take the fact that you crashed a wave. You don't get anything for it. It sucks. As a top laner, you always want to do something when you crash the wave. Sometimes that thing is just a free reset, though. Sometimes that's it. And I know that Gwen needs to be super fed this game, but you can't take risks like that. Maybe BB thinks, look, the only way we win this game is like if I'm super ahead. But you just won a fight bot side. You lost the 2v2, which sucks. And at this point too, I mean, obviously you see the build coming through. By the way, when you are playing Poke Kaiser, hang on, let me just check his runes. I want to check his runes real quick again. Let me just check this. Because if he goes Ingenious Hunter, you get a lot of power out of that as well. He goes Treasure Hunter. I feel like you go Ingenious Hunter. Yeah, I think you go Ingenious Hunter. So the thing is, when you go Ingenious Hunter, it speeds up how fast you stack your tier. It speeds up how fast your Ludens recharges later into the game as well. And it also reduces the cooldown of Crypt Bloom as well, which is one of your big 3 items. So it affects all 3 of your items at some point in the game. So, I think Ingenious Hunter, it's really, really broken. Even with no stacks, it gives you 20 ability haste. Oh, this is the replay of this play as well. So, Caps... Razork misuses his W here. Yeah, they actually get this kill if Razork uses his W well. So the initial combo is good. And then you have the flash wall stun. And then you have the hook. If you save your W for Caps after this point, yeah, he doesn't get the W damage on him. He doesn't get the W damage on him, I'm pretty sure. So that's a mistake there from Razork, maybe. I guess he used it for the move speed. I guess you just want to guarantee the wall stun. Maybe they could have layered their CC better, but it's hard to tell at that point. Okay, now we finally have ourselves... That is hilarious. Hang on. This is hilarious. Look, watch Razork here. He gets fucking dunked into the fight by Humanoid. He helps him cross the wall. That's hilarious. Caps is topside, does it matter? Oscar and... Oh, shit. Oh, if that pop ult hits, he maybe survives. Caps has 2 Dark Seal stacks. There's no W left. He might get another kill here. Another W, maybe? Does he have enough mana? He has enough mana for W, I think. I mean... Are you ever likely to get that? Can you time out the W? No, I don't think you can, actually. You don't have flash either. Oh my god, and he gets punted back as well. What does Lee Sin do in this game? It's so hard for Lee Sin to play. Maybe he should just put the Q onto Cassante. Because I think the logic here is, right? I think if Razork has W, you never Q this guy. Because you just react... You don't have... yeah. I think you have to put the Q onto one of these two. Because if this guy has W, then obviously you're likely never getting the target. You don't have flash to flash inside the W as well. So, and even if you Q here, and Oscar steps back, he steps back into Caps, you can then DPS him more, so you can keep getting auto attack up time and maybe get a W, and maybe that kills at that point. He does have some magic resist, so that's a bit of a threat. But I think you just go for Oscar I think going towards the Poppy is greedy, and just hoping that you can hands check him, right? Yeah, because he just instantly pops his Q2. Close on killing him with a smite and Q1 though. That's just hands checking. And I don't think you do it against Razork, who is, you know, one of the best mechanical junglers in the West. Maybe even the best. He's definitely up there. So, 1 item to hand Sama, 2-1-1. Even-ish in gold. Typically, you'd say that's very good for a Smolder, but even in with the AD build, I think that Kai'Sa can threaten this champion. And with the AP build, I think it's actually unplayable. Every time now we see the Kai'Sa into the Smolder, I think we talk about this build, because it's very, very important to say that you outrange them. It's really, really nasty. He tried to QE Smite before the W proc, because he used Smite as a way to, as we see. Yeah, it's just hands checking though in that top side. It's basically just a hands check, which I don't like very well. And now, as you rightfully point out, Healor as well, there is already a mechanic rook in inventory here, which is terrifying news for G2, because I'm going to speak about this from an Ahri perspective now as well. Ahri's going to be facing off against, you know, magic resist building tanks everywhere. You're going to get Merc Treads from the Nautilus. And you're dealing with the Ahri Minefield and the Poppy W as well. As an Ahri player, I look at this composition and I say, oh, Jesus Christ, what do I do unless I have 2,000 gold lead? I think Cap's likely... What do you build this game? I mean, you probably go Malignance Leandries and just hope that shit works. But then that's a slow burn build against a team which plays better slow than you. What would I do as an Ahri this game? I don't think you can Lichbane very well. Well, yeah, Lichbane kind of sucks. And again, you need early magic pens, so that means it delays that a little later. You could go Lich Crypt Bloom, but then you're missing out on Malignance, and you really need Malignance in pro play for your ultimate uptime. So Lich Malignance is 2 items. You're getting 2 items in before you get Magic Pen. You're probably needing to go Malignance Leandries and then Crypt Bloom, depending on whether Gwen goes that early. I think the one of you goes Crypt Bloom, the other one goes Void Staff. It really depends on who needs the cooldown reduction more. It depends how Broken Blade feels about his W cooldown. Because you don't want double Crypt Bloom. You don't need to double proc them. So it sucks for Caps. He's not going to get much gold. He's going to be not a champion until later into the game. If you get very fed, of course you can go for Magi's, and then you can go for like Magi's, and then like you can even maybe go Malignance, let Magi's, and then Void Staff at that point. I think that's fine. I don't think you need to go for Leandris. I think you can just go for straight Magic Pen at that point. But you're not getting to that point now. Not at this point. Riftmaker Ahri angle. Oh, so we saw Rookie hit these earlier. We're seeing Caps miss these. I mean, Humanoid just makes this really difficult, right? Because like he immediately puts down the field just, and he's covered from Yike flying in, and yeah, it sucks to miss that kind of close charm because that's not a bad angle from Caps. Is there a better angle for Caps to do? So the thing about Ahri is that when you typically want to ult into charms. You ult to reposition for a better angle for your charm. Now he has 1 ult left. He's probably going to walk up slightly. So then I think he ults about here, right? I actually wonder if he walks down and then ults here. And then if he charms along this line, he walks into Yike. And also it means at that point, Humanoid has to then ult. Yeah, so this is maybe an angle. This is a bad angle, I think, from Caps. If you walk down here, and you ult down, like in this kind of area, if you then charm along this line, and I'll change the color for the charm angle. Clever. If you charm along this angle, Humanoid has 2 choices. He either walks, if you walk this way, I think this is why you angle it this way. I think you charm just beneath him. So you charm like just here. So Humanoid he's only got tier 1 boots, right? So he has tier 1 boots. See them down here? So he doesn't have that much move speed. He doesn't have his phase rest procs right now. And then also, if he throws out his minefield, at best he can only really throw it out like here. Can you throw it any better than that? If you're here, yeah, you kind of like, you want to put the bottom line of it along here, and that'll be like, oh, maybe slightly wider than that, like this. Which means that Lee Sin can then have a better angle. So I think Caps chooses a wrong angle for his Ahri ult here. That's actually kind of important here. But instead, he ults, because Caps ends up ulting here, instead of like walking down a bit more and going here. And wait, did he have W? Where was his W? Because the extra immune suit from W can also help this a lot too. He used his second ult charm a little quick, actually. You can use the move speed from the W. Well, no, you're kind of afraid of the minefield coming up. I think you go down. I think you go further down. If the charm hits, obviously it feels great. I think there are ways to make this just a little bit of a higher percentage play. And Humanoid has to dodge that, isn't it? So that kind of sucks at this point. Great damage back from Humanoid, standing and firing. Yeah, this is unlucky, too fast. Mouse, bad angle situation. I feel like, yeah, I feel like as Ahri, probably the biggest muscle memory thing you get as an Ahri player is, like, how do you ult to get your charm in the best location? And, like, just getting the best angles. If you're a good player and you just hit skill shots anyway, it's like, you know in Valorant, when, like, a player gets, like, a 1v4, I think there was one of the, it might have been one of the Sentinels players and stuff, and people were reviewing each other's clips, and this one guy was like, yeah, this is actually a really bad player, but you have good aim. It's exactly the same kind of thing. With Ahri, I feel like this is a really big thing, where it's like, are you setting yourself up for success, or are you just good at aiming stuff? Because you can be both. You can be both. And I think that Rookie was great with both today. But what you're realistically looking for is, like, the best angle, and then also, like, the best aim as well. I think, weirdly, it's one of those things which we share with, like, tactical shooters and stuff, where it's like, sometimes you can just outplay stuff, and you just hit everything, and that's fine. That's okay. But you need to set yourself up for success as well. Team has no flash. Did he have no flash in that play? Yeah, he had no flash for that play. Yeah. He did have it towards the end of that play. He had it. I don't think you lose that much time by going down, though. Or play Annie and never need to aim anything. Buddy, I've seen Care play Annie, and it's the Care Bear. It's fucking great. And him miss, like, ultimates, or, like, flash ult randomly. And then Faker did also just randomly ult in River as Annie recently, too. That was not great. So, you know, it happens, folks. Oh, the Showmaker Annie ult? Yeah. Yeah. So the funny thing is, by the way, folks, Care had one of the best Ahri games I've seen this year. He had a fantastic game the other day before he went into pro play. So he's one of the LPL mid laners. He had a great game then. So now, because Humanoid lives, he doesn't even need to blow flash. He survives. He gets to push in another wave. Once again now, G2... I know we talked about the micro quite a lot recently here as well, instead of the last few minutes. You suddenly have off vision. That's really nasty, because then suddenly BB, who's already 0-4 and cannot play this game, is already in a really awful spot. Really awful spot, actually. Okay. And yeah, and now just Oscar just gets to keep forcing this wave beyond tower. Broken Blade does nothing to him. So Humanoid loses... obviously... Oh, hang on. This is another thing too. We do also have the Poppy Talia combo. So if you use the Weaver's Wall, things are nasty. So okay, that's not bad. Okay, so let's slow this down. Poppy Talia combo, so you can put out the wall. So Caps is... This is a really nasty angle. So again, if you are Talia, you never want to be stood along this kind of line, right? Because if Caps, even here, if Caps like fires, walks a little bit further forward and like charms in this angle, Humanoid can't really dodge, because you can't dodge into the wall, right? So if you end up... The rule of thumb is, you aim on, like, this half of the model, this character model. You don't have to aim at... So where's the middle line of Talia's model here? It's, like, here or so. About here. It's not really in line with our Ahri, where is it? So, Ahri... So, it's, like... No, that's wrong as well. Like, here or so. That's the halfway line in the model. So, as Ahri... I mean, you'll hit if they stand still and you charm there. But if you charm this way instead, and just over this line, just barely, Humanoid can't dodge this direction. And it's really hard to dodge this direction as well, because they've already been leading you into that skill shot. So if you stand next to the wall, that's not good. So when you're walking into lane like this, and you'll see this, obviously people do this against Poppy, because they realize about the wall stun. But if you stand too close to walls at high elo, you get punished for it. And in pro play. So you can't stand next to walls. Not too close. Obviously, at this point as well, it's okay, because you're not going to get, like, shunted. You're not going to wall to your back like this, which can also be pretty bad too, in terms of people gap closing on you. So, Cap's actually... No, he's waiting for Yikes to get a bit close. Anyway, that actually doesn't apply to this. Obviously, at this point, Humanoid mind games himself, because he's trying to keep his Q on target, so he ends up walking this way, which means that it's obvious that you can land the charm there as well. It's quite easy to charm. Sometimes Talia players will kind of, like, put themselves into skill shot avenues, because they want to keep their Q on target. So Yike is here. He has flash. How quickly does this come through? So he's trying to, again, make sure he can get his dashes out before Razork gets his W or till he gets the E, because you've already got the charm on target. That's one thing. But then, oh my god, that's a really good Poppy ult as well. I mean, this is an unlikely play to work anyway, but still, Jesus, man. So Yike flies under turret. The wave clear comes through. He gets kept under turret. That's a hell of a 2v2. I mean, it's... Can Caps flash that quick of a popule. Charm hits. Uses the ward hop to get in. Really good disengage by Yike there. He still has his Q mark on as well. I think that's the Q mark, actually. So he ward hops closer. Hang on, let's have a look. How close does this get? So, he Qs. Ward hops instead of taking the Q. Qs. I think he wants to maybe flash. If he can flash this in time, I think he can kill. Well, no, because Humanoid has flash as well. This is still really close. Because, here's the plan, right? This is a lot of micro heavy stuff because G2 have to outplay in the micro so hard because I think on a macro level, in terms of, well, large level, I know macro means things and different things in League, but in terms of the map movements, they're getting absolutely shredded. Again, as a team composition, I think Fnatic huge out scale. You need to outplay the micro. If he can flash this combo, auto Q, I don't think it kill. Well, maybe then Caps can also flash in with an ult, and then wow, I mean Caps maybe. Oh, so Yike thinks it's on him. So Yike just reaction flashes, not... Because obviously at this range, it's very hard to, like... Oh, no, sorry. He just prediction flashes. He prediction flashes because he's like, okay, it's heading my way. It's very hard to reaction flash this. The not close to the wall thing, I learned the hard way by facing a good Kiana. Yeah. Kiana's one of the big ones for that too. I think that it's just like, when you play a high elo against like very threatening skill shots and stuff like that. Syndra, another great one too. Like, if you ever stand in an avenue to get hit by Syndra stun, you just lose all your HP. But yeah, obviously Yike flashes, Caps doesn't. It goes on Caps, it doesn't go on Yike. The combo on the tower is really clean. And now the one area of power for you, which is you have an Eclipse Lee Sin and, you know, an Ahri that's, you know, an Ahri Lee Sin that can potentially look for things is, yeah. Oh, Charm Flash. No, he ults in... No! Can he get out of this? Is there a way to charm this? So he sees Razork now. Charm Flash. Yeah. He gets a good auto attack in there too. He's dead either way, right? I mean, Humanoid immediately starts channeling his fucking combo on him. His Q's running... I mean, really good reactions of Humanoid. Well, it's not... He's literally just channeling Q at the same time. I wonder if you have to ult forward, but then the problem here is that you don't have... Well, Humanoid has flash. So if you lead with your ult and you charm, there's a likelihood that he flashes out of it. Then you can flash to follow. If you charm flash here and you mess up the calculation, which is what happens, you're just 100% dead, though. Because if Humanoid doesn't die in the duration of the charm, the next minefield comes out. And then obviously Razork has flash and he has his W as well. So you're just completely doomed. It's so close, though, man. You know what saves him here? If he has Scorch or some shit like that, that's one thing. There's nothing you can do with this build. I mean... I think that right now cooldown boots, I understand going them. I think that magic boots are fun. I think that right now cooldown boots are really big for your summoner spell cooldown as well. That was a big thing though. That's really close. Another auto and he lives, but you can't even not ult and just hope that the E or the W times out because Razork can shunt you through the minefield and you die. So you can't even sit there and wait for another auto. It's sad. Because if you manage to kill him in the duration of the charm, great. I mean, he hits everything onto him. It's just sad. He hits everything onto him. Fantastic mid-jungle 2v2 play from Razork. Razork is the one that really saved this. I mean, like, Razork fucking smurfs this, man. I mean, obviously you saw the first one in terms of, like, how he kind of plays in terms of denying the clean combo from Lee Sin, punting out the Ahri, immediately responds here as well. I mean, Caps is close on this. It is a close calculation. That just, yeah. But you understand why G2 needs to do this. Because how do they deal with... the range of the Kai'Sa later on, how do they deal with the anti-dashes and team fights, how do they deal with the frontline advantage, how do they deal with the DPS advantage from Kai'Sa and Taliyah, because, you know, Ahri's not going to be able to kill tanks, Taliyah can. By the way, I wanted to ask you if you think Aurelion would be a good bot counter to Smolder. His ulti just seemed like a nightmare for Smolder in team fights. He's also in true damage scale. Aurelion Sol can't, well... You don't have the best consistent access to DPS, sometimes weirdly as ASOL. Also, I think that he has a lot of counters ASOL. Like, so for instance, Taliyah counters Aurelion Sol because your W counts as a dash and it procs the minefield. I think maybe it could be a very niche counter pick. Yes, I can understand you stack for free. You also get the passive, by the way. Like, you get the quest between the two of them. Whereas Smolder or, oh, I keep saying this, by the way. So this here, this is Anissa. I work with her in UK University Sports. She is lovely. I got to meet up with her in Berlin. It's really cool. She's great. I'm really happy she's working with Fnatic and having a good time. So she used to run the National University Esports League in the UK. She was like the product manager for it. She's great. I really enjoyed working with her. I think she's great, and I think she's been a good addition. I think she's currently like team manager for Fnatic. She's been great. She's great. Like her a lot. So shout out to Anissa. I feel like an ASOL bot is unplayable early. Do you even even into Smolder? I mean, if it's Smolder Nautilus, I think you just die over and over. I think if it's Smolder Alistair, I think it's pretty bad. Yeah, I think even against stuff like Tom Kench, you end up... I think the problem is actually that Smolder can just follow up on what happens with your supports more. Maybe if you had like if you have full counterpick bot and they have like Smolder Braum and they've somehow for some reason picked Smolder Braum before you've gone for anything, that's maybe one thing. Problem is, most of the time you have the Smolder pick and then you end up like counterpicking the support, whether that's like Alistair or Nautilus. Well, I mean Nautilus if it's up there, sure. But if the weak supports are not going to be blind picked, or like counterable supports are not going to be blind picked most of the time. Okay, Razork's... Hang on. Let's go back. We were talking about Smolder. I didn't talk about this next bit. So, we've had mid-jungle TV2 work out. Big changes have just come through now. We have tier 2 ultimate from Humanoid. Very long range. Seraph means it's even harder to kill this champion too. Sundered Sky for Poppy. She's tankier, does more damage. Fnatic, because they lost the... Well, no, because G2 lost the mid lane TV2, there's vision in mid lane. They don't get to have push in mid lane. Humanoid's moved towards bot lane and started to shove that out as well. So Fnatic have... G2 have no access to the dragon area. I don't think Talia Mines cancel ASL flight midair. So I thought they didn't, but as far as I'm aware, it does. I was told that yesterday. I haven't played the matchup myself, but apparently it does, and it's super BS. Okay, so we have mid lane push, bot lane push, vision advantage, huge ult away, grounds on the ult, huge incentive combo. You're playing against double globals, and you only need to use one of them from Noah. Absolute fantastic for stuff from Razork. Sets up the play well, but what the hell are G2 doing here? I mean, you don't have the vision, you don't have the damage, you're looking to wait. I think you just have to give it the turret, don't you? I mean, Caps, as soon as that ult hits, knows that he's screwed. That's a great ult from Razork. And this is the problem with G2. G2's composition. You want to play around side lanes, you can't do that here. And also, Fnatic are one of the few teams that actually understand side laning on the... Oh my god. Oh, Humanoid. Oh, that is just insult to injury. Oh my word. Sees the safeguard forwards. They all body block each other because none of them have ghosting active or available to them. Oh, that is insane. Oh, that is absolutely absurd, actually. He has Seraphs as well, so he can be more ballsy. Because he has the Seraphs, he knows he's safe. Oh my god, that's insane. A hook through the minefield as well. They get one kill onto Jun. Oh, that's one of the best shoves I've seen. But G2 also just lined themselves up for it. I don't even know why... Like, what... Realistically, at this point... They hit the ult here. What are they looking for? They have the Eclipse on Lee Sin. But you still have to go through the... Even if you hit a Q, the Talia minefield is coming out. And the Seraphs is there, so it's unlikely you get to assassinate Humanoid, who also has Flash. So you're likely going to have... Even if the Q connects, you're not going to get follow-up damage. And then they'll flash away and reset on you. Anyway. In terms of, like, reset the positioning of the fight. If you fly... You're at a numbers disadvantage. You're not going to be able to teleport in because Oscarinin is holding Broken Blade hostage in topside right now. And even then, he's a 0 and 4 and doesn't have a first item. Realistically, what are G2 looking for here? What are we looking for here? I think that this is a bad... I don't think they should even look up for this. Mr. Streamer, what are your thoughts on Ari? Hang on. Okay, so let's continue this VoD review, and we'll get onto it. Okay, right. So, yeah, I don't really know what G2 are looking for here, you know? I feel like they've already lost this play on bot side. I don't think they get to save this turret. I think that they have a numbers disadvantage. There's no teleport, which can turn things as well. Realistically, this is just going to be 100% a losing play. They greed for this. They maybe look for a micro outplay. I don't think that's possible anyway, and Humanoid massively punishes them, so that's just nasty as hell. And App, thank you so much for the Prime. That's really... What do you mean, nice nah hoodie? What do you mean, Icenet? Get out of here. Yeah, folks. I have like 1.5 million points on Ari. I've played her for 10 years. She's my favorite champion. She's the reason I play League in a lot of ways too. The chair I'm sitting on is an Ari chair. I have a Broken Blade's dead again because he just gets hugely outplayed in the 1v1. Or like hugely just outmatched right now. He's hugely far behind. I have like 12 different Ari figures. I have another one pre-ordered as well. So yeah. I'm glad to see you didn't like pass out. I was scared after seeing Palafox on Saturday. So no, we don't call him that on this channel. He is Pala. Because he has to earn back the Fox after the amount of games which I've seen from him on that champion, which make me sad. Yeah. So at this point, I mean, I've been joking for the last minute. Let's go and recap what happens here. Do we get any kind of setup here? So you see the push in. So this is a replay here. What happens here? Oh, I mean, G2 do have topside vision control here. Maybe Broken Blade hopes that they're going towards Herald instead. You don't have teleport on caps. You're not looking for a big power play. I think basically what Broken Blade wants to do is get a really cheeky wave push where no one answers him so he can get a free wave. Because what else do you do at this point? You know, by the way, during all this time, you still have Talir ult up. John gets to walk around the map again. He's just really able to be everywhere as a Nautilus that's unlocked from lane. But Oscarin and Pops Ghost and runs at him. Ghost for Ghost. But yeah, Oscarin just still kills him anyway. Even without Iceborne Gauntlet, that's nasty. He didn't even... Yeah, I mean, he uses all out as well. It's nasty. So now you've lost your top laner. Your mid laner is in bot lane. While Herald's up, so you're losing Herald for this. Oscarinen, pretty sure he's safe here as well. He's still... Yeah, he E's out to a minion. He still has W. So realistically, what did G2 do? Because you're not even going to be able to defend your mid lane under turret now. Because one of the most dangerous things that you can have is the Herald push with Talir ult behind the turret it's pushing onto. So in the next minute or so, expect a threat of a Talir ult under a tower, Poppy ult Poppy potentially looking for a wallstone onto it as the Herald charges in. You're probably looking for Smolder to wave clear. You know, you throw the ult over for wave clear. I don't think that's enough. I think likely G2 are going to lose a fight under... My prediction is they're going to get Herald and then Talir ulted under mid lane turret. I'd imagine that's going to come next. But they might just give it up. Hopefully they're going to have the foresight to give that up. Because this is not going to be a pretty game. BB Mental Boom. I don't see if he has any options, honestly. It sucks for him. Like, I think that the first death was fine. I think the death when he died to Razork and Oscarinen for the second or third time, one of those two, that was pretty bad. Because there was realistically no way he could... That was really bad. We went over that earlier. This one here was cheeky, I guess, but yeah, not great. I think that he's... G2, probably they realized, hang on, we are getting absolutely steamrolled. We need some gold somewhere on the map. And there's a high likelihood that we die getting for that gold, but if we don't, then it's an important win from us, because you need to start something. Because when you're behind in a game like this, sometimes you just need to be super disrespectful and hope that the enemy team doesn't expect you to be super disrespectful. Okay, so we do have... Herald ult into mid lane. Not Herald, just the Herald summon. They don't even need the Talir ult. Talir is, however, hanging around in bot side jungle, and again has tier 2 ult, so it's longer range. So that's very powerful. And while all this is happening as well, Oscarinen can force BB off of turret because he has it all out again. They use this to go... I mean, this isn't going to be able to curve into bot lane, but it just allows you to rotate into bot lane anyway. Nice try from Caps. Almost gets to the range. Yeah, you can't get inner turret to inner turret, or like outer turret to inner turret charge. I think you can just about get inner turret to outer turret from mid to top, maybe. Not sure. It's quite close. Does anyone know BB's win rate in Gwen? I can check. I can check for you if you'd like. I can do that. Let me check it. Broken Blade. Gwenny's played 14 games on, and he's a 57% win rate, so I'm going to imagine that it's 8 and 6 all time. So I'm going to imagine. So, now, big problems. Noah's been gifted a load of tower gold. He's not really been a factor this game, but now suddenly you have... Oh, so this is a big thing, by the way. So this is what happens. And he's also played this slightly wrong as well. So, you can go 4 points Q, and if you go futures market, I think it's maybe not futures market. I think if you go triple tonic on Kai'Sa, you can go 4 points. You can go 4 points into Q, and then you can max out your W for mid game with triple tonic really, really quickly, or something like that. I think. Wait, how many points is it? So you normally go. So at level 9, normally it'll have like 5Q, but if you have 4Q, and instead you go to, so you'd normally have another point in W at that point. So you'd have another 3, and then with the triple tonic you have 4. Yeah, so you end up basically maxing out your W for mid game by dropping a point in Q. For a point in W instead. You already have enough wave clear anyway. And then also another thing too. So when you have Muramana plus the mana from Ludens, the mana from this amps back into your Muramana, which gives you a Q upgrade because Muramana gives you AD based on your mana as well. Have you heard of Lethal Tempo on hit Nico ADC with W max? That used to be a thing in the past. On hit AD Nico was such a blight upon top lane and in bot lane that it was banned out. Well, it was basically nerfed out of existence for good reason. I haven't heard of it being played recently, but I think it wouldn't surprise me if it does get played at some point. There are some champions which just can't play against it. It's really, really annoying. I'm trying to remember if it was like Nico or Cassante, like Alawi or Cassante that can't play against it. I think it might be Alawi that just can't play to it. It's like a hard counter. Okay, so we're getting to the point now where Noah can actually become the main character. He hasn't had to do much, but this is the problem. With Smolder, you allow other champions to scale up with you. If you find a build or a champion that can scale up for free, eventually that becomes a huge issue. So that's a problem. Humanoid's almost at death cap. Caps is very far behind. I mean, where does G2's damage come from? You have... Even your Smolder is 2k behind. Like, maybe you can CC someone up in the front line long enough that Smolder can burn them. And he's got 196 stacks. It's actually pretty okay in terms of stacking. He's actually stacking quite well. It's just not enough. See that? Oh yeah, you do have W. You have W max now. Not W max. You have W evolved now as well from Noah, and it's doing bits. So if he misses his W, I think once you get Crypt Bloom, I think it's about 8-second cooldown. When you hit it, it's a 4-second cooldown. So it's absolutely nuts. Oh, it's 10 seconds right now. But then once he completes Crypt Bloom, it'll be 8. W, second W, gets to go through Guardian. If you get a second W on the same target, it is absolutely redonkulous damage. And now G2 can't even defend turrets. They don't have sustain. They don't have tank that can survive it. You don't have like a Chaotic Rooker tank. If it's like a Shinsao or a Cassante with a Sundered Sky, Chaotic and Shinsao, or whether it's like a Chaotic Iceborne and then like a Jackshaw and Cassante, they actually can withstand Zeri poke. You just can't as the other champions though. Gwen is not going to do anything. Oh my god, that's just like take away the team red buff as well. Why not? It's also like also, I mean, big thing here. Let's see how much gold it is. So that's 90 gold. Wait, that's more than that. 90 plus 20 because of the fucking everything. So that is 110 gold to Razork. And that's minus 110 gold to Yikes. That's a 220 gold swing, or 200 gold swing. And camps like that, yes, it matters a lot, because now suddenly you can have like Talia or Kai'Sa take your own camps while Razork is stealing enemy camps, or you just get Razork to power farm as well if you need him to as well. He's a massive amount of gold up. Like, what did G2 do here, man? Like, legit, what did they do? Caps has gone for the early 2-item spike of Horizon Focus, but you're still so far behind the game anyway that it just sucks. I don't think any second items bails you out here. You've already been out-comped and outplayed. Oscarinin does not care for your measly damage. He has ridiculous tank stats at this point in the game compared to the enemy's damage. FF at 20. It's been a while since the FF20. FF15 is the new meta. Remake, maybe. Broken Blade never connected to the server. Remake. I mean, I think that Fnatic did a really good job with their draft. I think they did a really good job in the early game to stop G2 from, like, just punishing G2 from making the few plays they could. And now they're into a very comfortable late game where G2, they're just going to get outranged for forever. Noah just has to keep chucking Ws at them. He has 3 items now. And yeah, it's like 4-second cooldown whenever he hits a W. It's absolutely absurd damage. He has Magic Pen too to get through the Merc Treads which have been built up. Yeah, this is really, really good stuff from Fnatic. And they can't pick off Oscarinin. Oscarinin is just too tanky. He can just run around Yike. He can be there to like pop Ghost and like just make sure he doesn't get into the pits. That's an E onto Yike. He has to flash. He gets completely obliterated. Baron resets this way. While all this is happening, Oscarinin is getting melted by a Smolder. And you can see that Smolder does have pretty okay damage. Yeah, Smolder and BB actually do have good tank killing. But all three of them on him, for about 5 seconds, don't kill him. They get Jun, who is much squishier. There was a worry here that actually, even the 0 and 5 Gwen, just because of base damages, rank 2 ultimate, and then Riftmaker, across here, that's actually quite nasty, especially with Conqueror stacked as well. How many stacks, how many ults does he use here? Okay, so that's 1, 2. I wonder if he should have saved his ult 3 to try and get it across the whole team. He was likely going to get hit by it anyway. I think he maybe fires the ult 3 a little early. Caps doesn't have something like Leandries, which I wonder if he should have gone for at this point. Devour, god damn, this is why I don't like Tahm Kenshin to Talia. You get one shot, you get absolutely blasted, whereas Alistar maybe survives with ult ticking. It sucks. Yeah. Surrender at 20, my beloved. It was a good website. I'm kind of sad that Surrender at 20 kind of folded eventually. I know that obviously like Ansbeat was having a very hard time after Moonbeat kind of like struggled to keep up the amount of work he did before. And I know that really affected their relationship with Sux. That was a tangent. But yes, Surrender at 20, great website. I really miss it. That was a really important outlet for league news before. Yeah, this is a huge draft gap. It's also a play gap as well, particularly in early game. It doesn't matter how good our GT play now. They're just way too far behind. They get 1 kill. That's nice. That's something. But yeah, 1 kill for Death is not so great. And Humanoid's having a great game. This guy's having a great game. He's definitely my player of the game. No, Razork's played well too. I think Humanoid probably is player of the game, but Razork's had an insane game too. So, you know. Mid-jungle, great stuff. And now you've got an extra death cap on top of, not death cap, an extra needlessly large rod for Noah. Yeah, nasty. Jun's death have all been setting up his team? Yeah, it's fine. Jun's just been doing Nautilus things. A lot of the time, Nautilus just dies because they're Nautilus. Yike's trying to look for a miracle flank here. But again, like, G2 just don't have the damage. They don't have the damage. Oscarin is tank his balls. He has a locket as well to help the rest of his team survive and also help through the Smolder burn, which makes a lot of sense. Caps gets himself a charm, but again, just goes unstoppable. It's one of the worst champions to play into his Ahri as well. I think Cassante is one of Ahri's hardest counters in a team comp sense, because you can just never kill this guy. He's going for like a... He's going for a Void Staff or something third, but he's just not going to have the damage to deal with it. Okay, you've got the potential of a Poppy wall stun. I don't think that, Wait, is there a better angle he could have chose here? Maybe take it a little closer to the turret? Yeah, maybe. Because if you kind of like take the wall from here instead and you kind of fly... it's going to go. If you go across here, maybe it forces like them into like a Poppy stun. Because Razork doesn't have flash, but maybe you could W over here and then like... I mean, I also think that Razork, by the way, Razork should have been positioning... I think Oscarinin should be here and Razork should be here. Because if that's the case, then Razork can like... threaten to W up here and then slam in. So I think Razork maybe positions wrong there. It's a mini thing. Oscarinin can frontline the other side, which he's not on anyway. They get the tower either way. Hook lands. That's gonna be into a full combo, so he dies for free. Smolder's pretty okay, but the crit bloom keeps everyone topped up, which is nice. And they back away. So that's fine for them. Get themselves free resets. Baron's just ending anyway. 10 stacks Dark Seal for Humanoid as well, so he's very happy with that. Right, and G2 are just never going to get enough stacks. I mean, Smolder has 300 stacks. Yes, if you dive too deep, there's a chance that you outplay, but there's no obligation to do so. I mean, Noah's poke from such a long range is absolutely absurd. And all you have to do at some point is then Jun just lands a hook and people die. Razork does take damage. You can't face check with impunity now, because this Smolder actually does do pretty high damage, but if you just play at range, just keep playing Kai'Sa Ws, doesn't matter. Yep, those are the Ws. 4-second cooldown if they hit. He hasn't managed to get like a double W onto the same target yet. That's when it gets really disgusting. Because you can genuinely one-shot squishies with like, well, two-shot them. Okay, Broken Blade gets it. Also, you can pretty much guarantee your W as well, because you can press W, ult in, and it will reposition your W. There you go. Gets the passive on it. By the way, Shadow Flame also will proc on your passive as well. So your passive will do so for instance when that procs, as long as they're below 35% HP, it will do an extra 20% damage because of the Shadow playing passive. Oh, by the way, we just crossed, what, 3,100 followers on Twitch, so whoop whoop, that's another milestone. Damn, that's a lot of damage. Whenever that happens to, like, Hans Sama, particularly Hans Sama and Caps, I feel like there is a chance that Noah can just fly in for a second W and he instantly kills. Okay, so now you've got the next Talia wall. Again, super easy to zone off turrets like this. The smaller Q with Fire Cannon is something, but it's just not enough. You get pulled through the Talia minefield, that sucks. Smolder Qs are okay, and Smolder is doing damage, just not enough. Ooh, that was actually a brief point here, where if Yike ends up hitting this Q, because there's no Talia E, and there's no Poppy W as well. If this Q hits onto Humanoid, there is a chance that Yike could flash Humanoid in. That was almost the late game play they needed. Almost, almost. And then because that doesn't hit, everyone funnels in trying to follow Broken Blade. The W runs out. Fantastically timed from Humanoid. Blop. Fantastic. Really good stuff. Humanoid's had a fantastic game. He's punished G2 every time they've gone aggressive. Every time. Because that was the one angle that G2 had. There was one brief moment where there was no Talia E and no Poppy W. And Yike almost find an angle there. That was quite close, actually. So if that Q hits on Humanoid, he maybe dies. Maybe. He has Flash. It's still hard. Based pink nameplates. Oh, yeah, talking about the Twitch chat color? Yeah. Also, by the way, Doc Shermark, thanks for the follow, by the way. I haven't called out all of them. Maverick Gaines, Celine, Feels Tigletman, and Milk Powder. Thanks for the follows. And Hisper as well. Thanks for the follows, everyone. I really appreciate it. And everyone else who's followed in the stream. I'm sorry if I didn't catch your names. So that's... I mean, G2 are just going to get continually pushed back. And you've got a death cap now for Noah, who is just, again, absolutely slaughtering people. He needs to keep the Doran's Blade for his Q upgrade, in case you're wondering whether he should sell that. He wants it for the Q upgrade. Yike's looking for a flank again, but yeah, it's hard to do that. Fnatic just never allow G2 to find value, and the Yike gets hits. Does he live? No, he is dead. Doesn't even need the second W. So now you don't have one of your big playmakers. What have you used for that? A Kai'Sa ult. So what? Kai'Sa still gets to have a W with this build, which is completely fine. So jungler's dead, Baron's live, free Baron. Kai'Sa is now on... Wait, 2 second on Kai'Sa W advantage? Jesus, wow. Celine, your color is peach. It's like that kind of pinky orange. Yeah, see, Amber's got it. See, I'm a guy that knows how to do shades sometimes. Yeah. Coral. Yeah, coral peach. Yeah, you see? There's shades of this. It's like halfway between pink and orange. I mean, there isn't as much to speak about in this late game now, because basically G2 are looking for miracle kicks and stuff like that. It's very hard to do that now without flash on Yike. Fnatic are making sure that they move around as a grouped up unit. It's much easier to do that around inner turrets and inhibitor turrets because you can respond quickly to lanes. You know, if you're playing, so you just look down the minimap. If you're playing along this distance here, right? Actually, this makes a lot of sense. So, yeah. If you look at this line between outer turrets here, which is basically where they are, and you look at where the inner turrets are, this doesn't look that much. But if you line these up against each other, it's basically half the distance. Basically. I think it's slightly over. Yeah, maybe slightly over. And then, of course, when you're in inhibitors, it gets even shorter again. So when you have that, it's like this. So these lines here are the distance that you would have to travel to get from one outer turret, well, from one side of the map to the other. So if you're playing around outer turrets, right, you have to go from, like, one side or, like, mid lane to one of these other sides. And same here. So your response time is so much quicker. So if you have to move between, like, so yeah, if you're going from top to mid lane, it takes a while. Now, it's obviously easier for Fnatic, they have globals and semi-globals, but you still need a little bit of time to route that up. Now, when you're going between inner turrets, yeah, still a little bit more. When it's between inhibs, your time is instant. If you go between a Kai'Sa or particularly with level 16 Kai'Sa, level 16 Talia, it's instant. It's completely instant. So just in pace of just geometry, right? Fnatic, when they're playing like this, they can group up easier because if they have one person on a side lane like Oscar Innen or whatever, they immediately respond to it. So G2 don't have a timing window to find a place where they can't find Fnatic in a death ball. It's very hard to. And they're trying to wave clear as the best they can, you know. Ari Smolder actually have pretty good wave clear. And the thing with Smolder Q is that because it just, yeah, because his stacks give him a load more burn and other stuff, it's, oh, if that hits Hand Salmon, by the way, he maybe just loses them the game. Because the next W that hits on like a squishy target is painful as hell. So now they're using the clear roll again. Get the wall stun. Oh, he gets punted over. That's kind of annoying. That's actually not a great engage by Fnatic. So they use the Talir ult. He doesn't follow it over, because what you could do is have Talir land about here or so. And then you can look for like, well, if you want to be really ballsy, you could even land like here. And then if Razzle goes forwards for a wall stun, then you can then combo in. I think by not following it, I think he makes a mistake here, because currently you're in 4v4. Mickey flashes forward for a Devour. Yike doesn't get the kick. He doesn't have flash, so it's very hard for him to do so. Humanoid is now here. Gets a pick onto Mickey, even through the exhaust, one-shots him. And, like, Kai'Sa still has ults as well. Smolder is untouched, and I think that Fnatic... Oh, does Razork end up getting Jun killed with the Q bounce? It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, he would have killed him anyway, I think. Yeah. Yeah, he could have just literally clicked on Jun if he wanted to. I think Fnatic don't play their frontline backline combination that well. Because you can see that... Ooh, that was fucking close. You can kind of see how... you know, Jun, Razork, and Oscarina, they all get burned down for huge damages because Smolder's a thing. They should be able to one-shot the carries without them responding, really. Really. Gotta be careful here for the rapid fire cannon. Another rapid fire cannon, and particularly with Flash and Smolder, there's a chance for things going massively wrong. But if a W lands on Hand Salmon, the game's over. So, ooh, Hand Salmon does get a good proc onto, no, actually, good splash damage. Humanoid can back and teleport in if he wants to. I think because Fnatic's frontline gets a bit snarled up with Hand Salmon getting free fire, this game doesn't end. I think if they play that better, this game is 100% over. So, yeah, we already talked about this one. We can go forward on this one. So, back into the base now. Thank you, Replay, for covering important stuff. I swear, replays in broadcasts, like, they're really good for when you're casting. They're really bad for when you're trying to analyze. So, Hand Salmon, what can he do? Failed the wall stun. Oh, Caps gets absolutely nailed by Kai'Sa W. Now, the next Kai'Sa W, probably you can ult in to get the freebie. But I guess you just got one hit Hand Salmon. Oscar can just go, oh, good Devour. What happens over here with BB and... oh, so Humanoid just gets hit, basically, with a charm. He just gets charmed. Crit Bloom heals him while he's in there, though. Hand Salmon's doing 1,000,000 damage with the Z, but is it enough? What's happening with Hand Salmon on the top side of this? All out. He gets to fly outside the map briefly, which is kind of funny, but then wall stun is basically instant beyond that point. Ooh, baby. Yeah, this time the front line can't do enough, and even with insane smaller damage, the Talir and the Talir outvalues the Ahri too much because Caps is 5k behind, basically. Well, that was a comprehensively great performance from Fnatic. This is not a fluke. They played this really well. Now, it is a best of one. I think that if this was a best of three, you're not getting a draft like that, or that draft advantage like this again from Fnatic. So I think that G2, they need to walk away with the thinking about that first pick Smolder and how that put them into a really bad spot. I think they really struggled with that. So that's a problem. However, I think also the early game from Fnatic, fantastic. I think there was one fight in the late game where I was like, well, the front line probably shouldn't have got burned down as much like that because I don't think they positioned well in regards to their backline in terms of following it for instance one-shots. But on the whole, really, really good game for them. And G2, this shall teach them to not ego blind picking Smolder in bot lane, especially against the Talir that can roam bot lane too. I think that was, Fnatic had answers to everything that G2 wanted to do. If you have at least one winning aspect in a game, you can win a League of Legends game. Because you can just try at least to make the game about that. You couldn't do that in this game. Okay, folks, that'll do it for this VoD review. So thank you very much for either watching it live or if you're watching on YouTube as well. Thank you for watching that as well, because this will come up there at some point. Wait, I may as well put it in Twitch VoDs as well. It'll be around.